Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. I'm Lucas and welcome back to another League Racing video on F122 here on the channel. Today we have PSGL Round 5 around Belgium. This took place a while ago now, but yeah, hope you're all having a great day and let us jump into the video. So yeah, we have the results on screen now from the last race. We managed to pick up a, well I mean P2 on track, but it was P4 after a really weird penalty that we we're quite sure we would get removed but didn't get removed. Boring story. Point being, we're here at Belgium and here is my one and only Q1 run, if I remember correctly. Now, into turn 1, getting to the apex relatively okay, quite slow on the power, choosing to go up to 8th gear before turn 1. Sometimes you can hold 7th, sometimes you go for 8th gear like we did there, but flat up through Eau Rouge and Radeon. It was an amazing experience to actually see this in real life this year. At the Belgian Grand Prix with McLaren Shadow, which was, yeah, just a throwback I thought I'd put in there. It was absolutely amazing of them to send me out. And yeah, chucking it into Le Com now, holding 5th gear, but we get a bit of direction change oversteer, which I think cost us quite a bit of time on that transition phase. So yeah, we've already bled away a little bit of lap time, fighting the car tiny bit on corner exit, short shifting to 6th, but not really committing in this lap that well. We weren't really hooking everything up and we weren't using, you know, we weren't pushing the extremities, missing the apex of Puon, so that's another bit, that's some more lap time basically given up. So yeah, it's not looking perfect at the moment. Down to 5th gear, do we, a bit of correction again on the transition. It's not been a sensational opening lap here in Q1, up to 7th, down to 5th, shot down to 4th, and then up shifting to, I mean, too many gear changes for my tired brain cells to you know, even fundamentally understand. A 14-2 split, not anything good to be fair. So yeah, we've got it all to do into this last chicane. So how are we going to get onto the brakes? Just trying to pick out your braking zone, which is so difficult to do with all the shadows. We have quite a clean chicane. How's the exit? Nothing, a bit of oil spin in the exit, and it's only a 42.318, as you can hear me say. Not a great lap at all, and I'm just going to play this clip now. So, we decided to take a huge risk, and well, in hindsight it's a huge risk, but I didn't want to use another set of tyres, and I was, yeah, I was basically banking on the cut-off being very high, because our lap was really, really slow, so I just didn't want to use another set of tyres. It's because I wanted to have 2 sets for Q2 and 3. But as you can see now, there's quite a lot of cars still on a lap, and we're in P11. So at the moment, it's not looking very good. So Samuel Bain now, crossing the line, P15. So we've got 4 cars now safe. 4 cars are now finished behind us, but 4 cars are still on a lap. Now we're down to P13. So we can still go out in this Q1 down to P14 with 2 cars yet about to cross the line. Simon Weigang just gets in front of the tiniest spot. We are P15. Do we get through?
Did we make it or no?
There's only time. Yeah, I think we made it. Depends off timing.
We just made the cut-off, and that was the biggest unnecessary risk that I've probably taken in this pre-season of League Racing. So, on to Q2 now, to regather ourselves. We don't want to repeat the errors of Q1, so we wanted to, you know, come out with a good starting lap. So, starting the lap with a nice and clean turn 1, flat out all the way, nice and easy up here, saving the distance over the curb a little bit on the inside of the top of, I believe it's Radeon, and now down the Kemmel Straight. Going to open up the road as much as possible, braking just before 50 metre boards, holding 5th gear, using the curb as best we can, up to 6th gear, massive snap of oversteer. I did not prepare myself for that, I forgot that happened. Okay, that's interesting to watch back. Okay, so yeah, big snap of oversteer, this time though, utilising the road much better, and carrying greater speed through the corners, but still a bit to improve upon in this lap. Pushing the car a lot better through Puon this time. Of course, we've got a bit more grip now in Q2 than we did in Q1. Nibbling a bit of the curb on our way into this right-left to end the middle sector. We just fight the car a little bit on exit, but it's looking all good. But we are pushing on quite a bit better on this lap. And again, fighting the oversteer. But this has been a very respectable first attempt in Q2 here. So yeah, it's not looking too bad as we wind our way into the final chicane, or on our way to the final chicane, I should say. So let's see what the lap's going to be, given all of these, you know, snaps and wiggles we've had in this lap. Down to third gear, carrying so much speed in, using a lot of curb on the left hand side, but somehow still managing to get great traction, and it's a 41.9, top of the board, given we had a few near death experiences. Yeah, you can hear Anton talking about the slide. That was quite a close one, so that was interesting. However, we have a free set of tyres, albeit we will be pretty much confirmed through with this lap. Well, obviously we had a free set of tyres to use, so we went we went for it again. So into turn 1 now. It's ever so slightly up on the delta. Now we know going up onto this straight section that we have time on the exit of the, you know, the Lecom section. So we know where the time is. We know what we need to do. We've got a bit more track evolution as well. So just need to drive a nice and clean lap. So braking late now. Using a bit more inside curb on this lap, and in fact using more inside curb on both of those parts. Bit down in the delta initially, but there we go. We actually, you know what, we don't actually gain at all. Or basically at all though. That's very interesting. Okay, so my logic's out the window, but where do we gain the time? Do we gain through no name? Yes we do. That is I think half a tenth up that we have just gained through there by taking a little bit of an earlier apex. You get into nice to the inside of the inside curb on pull-on, gaining a few extra hundreds. I think we've got a little bit more time to gain through this section. Plenty of curb on the inside use. Can we get the power down a bit more smoothing? Use a lot of curb on the inside. Now we're a tenth up. Taking a nice wide entry, not using any inside curb, but crucially, we do not get an oversteer snap on the exit onto this long straightaway. That snap we had on the first run of Q2 cost us all the way down because of where we got the oversteer. So now we are miles up on the delta, and we're already safely through, so this is looking like a pretty solid Q2 attempt for this stage in the session. Feeding the car in nice and early, carrying the car placed a bit more to the right this time, getting a fantastic exit and gaining even more on the exit, and that is quite a solid effort in Q2. So there we have it. That was that was a very solid Q2 lap for the time of this league race, so I was pretty happy with that. But yeah, now we have the all-important runs, the Q3 attempts. So the track is at its best. Track evolution is really powerful around this track, given how long it is. You know, you've got more, you know, corner time to gain with that additional grip that you get with Q3. So yeah, heading up to Rouge now, nice and clean through turn 1. Got to think of things to say as we go down this straight because it's a very long one. But yeah, DRS open, and now just about trying to judge the grip correctly as we can obviously start to brake later and later, push harder and harder. Where do we brake? Right on the 50 metre board, a little bit wide into Lecom, so overshooting ever so slightly, short shifting to 6th. Not perfect through there. We could have carried better exit speed, but we had to start fighting the car. 4th gear, short shift to 5th. How did we get on the power? Opening up no name quite nicely. It was relatively clean, but again, it's just trying to carry that extra minimum speed requires you to be really on the edge, really dance with the car. Pretty solid through pull-on, using plenty of road on the exit, then saving the distance a little bit on the inside as we feed our way through to... we were way too early, yeah, so there's a mistake there. Way too early to the apex, and then having to fight the car on entries and transitions and exits all the way through there. And that's where our time bled away. And as you can see, we're not that massively up on the split that we had in Q2, so these small details in the second half of the lap mainly is where we have lost, I would say, the majority of the time. So we've got it all to do now to try and, you know, make sure this is a solid enough banker lap heading into the final run. Down to 3rd gear. Not using a lot of curb on the left hand side, just trying to keep the car nicely balanced, getting on the power, and it is going to be a 41.716, which is basically the same lap as we did in Q2. So we know we've got it all to do. Now, we know there's a bit of time in the lap, but it's now about executing it when it matters. So, into turn 1 now. How is the exit? It's not too bad. We start the lap half a tenth up. Actually, I think it's more than half a tenth up. So, very good through turn 1. And we know we've got a bit of time in this second half of the lap. So, we just need to try and focus on making sure we optimise it then and there. So, heading now into Lacombe. Will we repeat that same mistake that we made, braking too late? Do we get to the apex, braking at the 50-metre board? No, we did the exact same mistake again, utilising good road on the inside though of the left-hander, but carrying greater speed through there. But I think there was still a bit on the table there, having a little bit of a correction, but getting the car fed into the apex a little bit earlier for the exit phase of that downhill right-hander, and then a very good no-name pushing the car, relatively speaking, because we actually still lost the time on the delta. But yeah, pushing to the limit is the key here, because this is where it will start to reward us. Half a tenth up now on the delta. We know this section is where the majority of our lap time potentially lies. No snaps through there, carrying good speed, short shifting to 6th, give it a little bit of correction on exit, but as you can see now, look at the delta, we have gained the crucial time, bit of a snap there, but still carrying forward motion now, as we have a 13-5-1 split, and we know this lap is definitely going to be in the fight for pole position at this point. So at this point, it's all about getting a nice clean chicane. The track's at its best, we just want to make sure we don't throw the lap away completely. So into this chicane for one last time, picking the braking zone just about 100 metres down to third gear, getting the car fed in early with lots of speed on the way in, using lots of curb on the left, pushing to the line, 2 tenths up. What's it going to be?
Come on, great job, come on.
Oh, come on.
Finally.
The lap felt good, and we were happy with that effort, given how difficult it is to hook a lap up around here. And it was so close, but we were 6 thousandths shy of our teammate Barry in qualifying. However, we're still in a great place for this race. Now, very quickly cutting on now, straight into the race. 5 red lights on your screen, and it's lights out and away we go. We get a fantastic start, like we've had quite a few times on this game actually, getting a bit of second phase wheel spin though, but the main objective really isn't to get the lead around here, it's just to make sure you're at the front of that pack. Now, key thing to note now is this was when the tyres didn't have any temperature at the beginning, when you had the basically 70-degree temperature. So the hard tyres were like ice at this early phase of the race. So yeah, all we wanted to do now was make sure that we're heating the tyres, building a rhythm, and following our way ahead with our teammate Barry. But key thing to note here is we have Marcel Kiefer on the soft tyre, deviating from what everyone else around is doing on strategy. So we can fully expect him, as he's going up the inside of Danny Beresny into this downhill right-hander. He's up to P3, and it'll be a matter of corners probably before he actually gets past us, and then consequently past Barry, and then all the way up the road. So
What the
as you can hear me complaining, I didn't realise he was in soft, so I was quite confused there. But you can see the hards just still a bit of understeer on the way into mid-corner. We've not quite got that carcass temperature right up. The hards do take a while, but as you can see, just the extra grip of those soft tyres firing up on Marcel Kiefer, getting us into, I think it's Piff Paff, that corner or something like that. I can't remember. I hope that's the name. I don't know if it is or isn't. Apologies if I've got it wrong. Yeah, we're still fighting the car. That's how tricky it was on hards on the first lap around Belgium. But the key thing for us is we have managed to, maintain position. We have Barry in P1, our teammate Wilson as well in P5. So yeah, not a bad outing at the moment for the McLaren Shadow boys. So yeah, Marcel will most likely get Barry on the back straight, and the key for us was just to stick with Barry and make sure we managed our race, managed our tyres accordingly. So yeah, 22 laps around Belgium. It's the longest track of the season, so short laps obviously, a short lap count I should say. So yeah, Stachelek retiring from the session in the pit lane, so obviously we don't have any safety cars or VSCs. But yeah, jumping ahead now, you can see Marcel Kiefer going for that overtake on Barry. Barry trying to defend just to not give him the easiest time, but ultimately it was no match for Marcel, who will now just dance away up the road. The hard tyres now finally starting to get some temperature, and yeah, now we can start working with Barry, heading on into this stint. So here we are now as well. Another key thing to note, we are on lap 4 now, following Barry, but we also have Jake Benham on the medium tyre. Now, what I expected to happen here was to Jake to pass me, and then Jake to pass Barry, and then lead the train away. But as you're going to see now, Jake will get past me obviously here on this lap, but then what happens after is Jake doesn't exactly go for Barry. I think he just sits there, which we're going to see. So I don't fight Jake too hard, I didn't want to waste the battery, I get told by Anton he had 40% battery, so he had less battery than us, I believe. I can't actually see my battery as it stands at the moment. Yeah, so not worth the ERS to fight that, as you can hear me say. So yeah, I was just gonna, you know, follow this pack, and yeah, Jake, obviously it would come back towards the hard tyres later in this stint. So as you can see though, and as I was mentioning, Jake didn't go for Barry, and now Jake's mediums were dropping off, and Barry was actually pushing on a bit here, so like we were actually in slight threat of losing DRS. But yeah, this is the time I decided to go for the move on Jake Benham, using a bit of energy, darting for the outside, but Jake loses the car and he shoves us completely off the track. We have no option but to go off the road. We give him the position, but Jake overcooks it, and we, well, consequently get straight back up the inside, and that is our move, which I think is only fair given we were forced our hand to go off the road. So yeah, one of those things in racing. And at this point, the problem with all of that is I had to waste a lot of energy to then, yeah, just make sure I wasn't losing touch with Barry, which then forced me to, yeah, box early onto the medium tyre to make sure I was still in contention. So yeah, it wasn't an ideal, you know, couple of, you know, laps or corners there. Yeah, could have certainly went a little bit, better, but nonetheless, here we are now onto the medium. Getting a nice clean pit stop, and we should get now a bit of an undercut and should probably rejoin in the lead of the race, or at least close to it. So yeah, let's see how we get on. And as key thing to note as well is I think we have Brendan Lee 1.3, 1.2 behind us, so he will almost certainly be on the back of us now after these medium tyres fire up, which shouldn't take that long with this compound in comparison to the hard. So Brendan performing a bit of an undercut, I believe. Patrick Sipos in the box, I believe, along with our teammate Barry Burmond up ahead. Yep, there we go, and Bresnay as well. So I think we were boxing on, I can't remember what the lap it was, but we boxed on the lap, but we boxed it. As you can see as well, actually, I got it the wrong way around. Barry got, you know, initial overcut because he didn't have to fire up the tyres. And yeah, now we're obviously, now we're on DRS, well, we're in the DRS detection, we're in the DRS zone, sorry, but we're obviously going to get DRS later in the lap. But now Barry has a one lap tyre advantage on us, but we're still in the fight, still P2 theoretically in this race, and that is key for us. And we wanted in this race to just sort of go with Barry and make sure we weren't exposed to anybody behind who may be on better tyres than us. So on to lap 14 now. Marcel, who boxed earlier for hards, off of the soft tyre. We do not opt to overtake Barry because we didn't want to do anything like that at the moment. We wanted to make sure we're, you know, building our battery nicely, saving our tyres, and yeah, working with Barry going forward into this race. But as you can see,
No. No.
as you can see, unfortunately, our teammate Barry lost it on the exit of the chicane complex, and the reason that was bad for us is it left us potentially very, very vulnerable to cars behind when you're leading the train. And I was worried about, you know, people coming through on better tyres and stuff like that. So from this point onwards, we really had to make some ground because we had Brendan Lee now right on the back of us, albeit on older tyres now. So we needed to, you know, crack on now in this race to try and make sure we weren't vulnerable. And yeah, Jarno Opmeer, who I believe hadn't made his pit stop at this moment in the race. And the key for me at this point was Brendan wasn't exactly right on my gearbox, but Jarno, we should be getting on the straight. So the hope was we could somehow manage to pull a gap to Brendan Lee and break DRS on this straight, or on this lap even, and then try and break away, because I think our raw pace was quite good in general. So the idea was to try and utilise that, and as you can see, Brendan had to go for quite a big dive, so he loses a bit of momentum, and the gap opens up to 7.5 tenths make that. So this was our chance. We have better tyres than Brendan. We want to make sure we push as hard as we can on this lap to try and open up that DRS gap, and then try and dart away before anybody with a tyre advantage makes their way through the field. So pushing into pull on now. a little small smooth correction mid-corner. The gap is now at a second. We just need to keep pushing it on so that Brendan can't blast his battery and make us waste it on this, you know, following straight section to then keep the detection. The gap is still coming up now. Down 3 gears, sorry, I can't count. And yeah, it was a very good middle set to overlap. Brendan obviously with, I think it was maybe even like 2 lap holder tyres, and maybe out of that energy as well potentially. And yeah, we use a bit of battery just to make sure Brendan does not enter our DRS zone, but at the moment, as it stands, we have successfully broken that DRS train, which is crucial for us in this race to try and break away and make the best of it. So, skipping on to lap 18 now to show you to show you the progress we made. We managed to build the gap up to 2.3 seconds. Obviously Brendan having to park the bus a bit with the older tyres, and Berezny, who got through on fresher tyres, we managed to build a gap onto him as well. So as you can see now, it's lap 22. There's not really much more to say. I wanted to push for as big a gap as possible to make sure that we were, you know, clear of any post-race penalties for any weird or wacky reasons off the back of last race. But here we go. That's a win.
Great job.
5 seconds to Brendan. That might be a safety net.
Yeah, great job.
But we'll take it though. I'll enjoy it in the moment. I know there's going to be a...
So there we have it, folks. We managed to take P1 at Belgium in PSGL round 5, and yeah, that was a solidly managed second stint, making sure we pushed when we had to push, and, you know, saved everything when we needed to. So yeah, really unfortunate for our teammate Barry, who had a very, you know, I've seen the footage, a very weird snap on the exit of that Lecom section. But yeah, thank you so much everybody for tuning in. Hope you're having an amazing day, and I hope to catch you guys in the next video. So love you all, take care, and have a great rest of your day, which I've already just said because I'm fantastic at overrunning on outros. So anyway, take care, ciao.